Hi all, Rick here with a video outside of the usual Star Trek zone, this time looking at the sci-fi world of Firefly and a breakdown of the namesake class of ship from the show. The Firefly was designated a mid-bulk transport boat with a focus on speed and manoeuvrability to make it stand out from the rest. The concept for the Firefly class came about in 2434, with the first version being made over the course of a year. A line of around 8,000 were produced initially, which carried many hallmarks of the ships to come. The class was named for the Firefly drive, the large rotational drive core, which is rated to cover 50,000 light-years of travel. This connected to the twin fusion engines that could rotate 240 degrees, providing a high degree of manoeuvrability for what was essentially a cargo ship. The reason for the swivel-mounted engines was to grant the vehicle vertical takeoff and landing, especially in tighter landing zones, allowing for a theoretical wider array of transport tasks. The Allied Spacecraft Corporation designed the vessel and outsourced construction to many other companies, including the dedicated Firefly Shipworks on Hera. The Mark II Firefly was developed alongside the Sandfly and aimed to iterate and improve upon the popularity of the Mark I. It was larger with a secondary cargo area, which could be refitted to additional passenger cabins. The Series 2 went on sale in 2448, and the biggest change was the replacement of the fusion engines with the Capstan 38 Mark IIs. These were more advanced engines, however their additional design features led to the higher failure rate, and they were known to cut out. Only 5,000 of these were sold, compared to the prior line, and the project was pulled earlier than planned to develop the Mark III. The 03 K64 Firefly, the Mark III, and the one that is represented by the Serenity was the most popular model created. A Class B transport, there were in fact two versions, a civilian one and a military equivalent. Entering production in 2459, of which Serenity was one of the first of these, this model replaced the engines once again and was larger than the prior model, retaining much of the others' additions that the Mark II had made. The Firefly reactor was also replaced with a SCVN 2812 Radion Accelerator Trace Compression Block Fusion Plant, which was one of the more superior designs on the market when compared to the less efficient Grussler models that were more common thanks to a lucrative contract with the Alliance. As a note, it's not the entire rear section that revolves, only the outer field generator layer and the internal reactor core. The swivel-mounted Blue Sun's 6V4178B31 engines had their own turn circles improved to 270 degrees, and they operated in tandem. Now, you could be daring and disable the safety features, which allowed for each engine to be manipulated individually, but while doing so enabled the ship to practically pivot on the spot. The shear and handling required was immense, so you'd need a skilled pilot to pull tricks like that. The ship was 82.1 metres long, 51.8 wide and 24 tall when landed. It weighed 128.1 metric tons and could carry an additional 74.8 tons. Standard crew complement was 5, and it had accommodation for up to 9 more comfortably. It could travel for 400 light-years before refuelling. The larger scale meant that the two shuttlecraft could now be retracted into the hull somewhat, and were repositioned to the wings. It also had 3 escape pods, which might not seem like enough, but the twin shuttles were expected to pick up the slack in emergencies. None of the Firefly series were equipped with weapons as standard. As for the military variant, it was basically the same, but with gun emplacements around the hull, but it proved inefficient when put up against dedicated attack ships. The Series 3 in particular did not make fantastic use of all its internal volume, however, which led to several crawl spaces and hollow bulkheads. This made it a favourite for smuggling, as these could be made readily accessible with a little elbow grease. There were several solar panels around the vessel's hull, because why not? You can run one less system on the reactor at least, and the gravity reactor was located on top of the vessel. The sensors and communication systems were located around the cockpit of the vessel, and there is the primary buffer wait, where's the primary buffer panel? The Series 3 sold 28,000 units before leaving production, with the Mark IV entering the design phase in 2513. The Series 4 was once again a larger model with dual forward-facing cargo bays and double the passenger quarters. With the manoeuvrability of the Firefly Mark III hard to beat, the focus was instead put onto increasing other areas, seeing a result of 25% increase in speed and doubling the operational range. Additional facilities, such as a hydroponics and dedicated maintenance bay, required a higher crew complement, and all this amounted to a higher price. This means that ironically the pricier Mark IV was reserved for the less dangerous and profitable central planets and the border planet runs, making little use of the ship's extended range. There is one thing that always stood out to me when it came to the design of the Serenity: how real it felt. As a smaller vessel, you really got a sense of the scale and managed to explore the inside of the ship and see how it all fit into this unique shape. The central walkway from the cockpit through to the mess hall, which then splits to the engineering room and the lower main bay, the infirmary and the quarters, it all seems to actually exist inside this friend-shaped vessel. Serenity itself was a wonderful horse to carry a memorable crew, and I'm still looking to fill that void left behind by the vanishing of that series. Thanks for watching this breakdown of the Firefly class transport vessel, a favourite of scoundrels everywhere. I've been Rick, and until the next one, thanks again, and goodbye.